All right, guys, we got an absolutely insane story here regarding Tom Homan, who is currently the border czar for the Trump administration. According to an exclusive report by MSNBC, Donald Trump's Department of Justice closed an investigation into border czar Tom Homan for accepting a bribe of cash, $50,000 in exchange for government contracts when Trump got elected. Let's listen to what the actual reporter has to say about this situation, who reported on the story, and then we'll go ahead and break it down. Here we go.
MSNBC is reporting tonight Trump's Department of Justice shut down an investigation into Tom Homan, according to multiple people familiar with the probe and internal documents reviewed by MSNBC. In an undercover operation last year, the FBI recorded Homan, now the White House border czar, accepting $50,000 in cash after indicating he would help agents who were posing as business executives win government contracts in a second Trump term. It's unclear what reasons FBI and DOJ officials gave for shutting down the probe, but a Trump DOJ appointee called the case a deep state probe earlier this year, and no further investigative steps were taken, sources say. Joining us now is one of the reporters who broke this story for MSNBC, Carol Leonnig, MSNBC senior investigative correspondent. Carol, it is good to see you. Thank you for joining us with this incredible reporting tonight. Can you break down for us what you've learned?
Yes. What Ken Delaney and my colleague here at MSNBC and I learned was that in the summer of 2024, when Trump was running for office and Tom Homan was at his side on many a campaign trail event and basically publicly touting that he was going to be an important part of the president's border initiatives and in the administration, during that time, the FBI began hearing from the subject of another investigation that Tom Homan was soliciting bribes and doing so in exchange for promises that he would eventually be in the administration and be able to deliver and influence federal contracts to help those businesses that paid him. Now, what the FBI decided to do was have a series of undercover agents approach that intermediary and also approach Tom Homan. And our sources and an internal document that we reviewed show that the FBI recorded him receiving this money in September 20th in a meeting they arranged. This is all before Trump is president, but it is really interesting because they didn't go after Tom Homan. They happened to learn from another investigation.
So I want to stop it right there, because one of the things that some people are saying on social media is, when this situation happened, when the FBI was posing as business executives and essentially, trying to bribe Tom Homan to pay him, trying to offer him the $50,000, Tom Homan was a private citizen during that time. So you have some people online who are arguing that he was a private citizen, and so he cannot be charged, because you can't be charged with bribery if you're not a public official. But there's more to the story. Apparently, they knew that he was a private citizen during that time, so they waited until he actually became the border czar, and they continued with their investigation to see if he would actually go through with it now that he's the border czar. As a matter of fact, let me pull up this right here. This is more of what's in the article from MSNBC. It says here, in a statement provided to MSNBC, because MSNBC actually reached out to the White House about this, here's what they came back with. FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said, this matter originated under the previous administration and was subjected to a full review by FBI agents and Justice Department prosecutors. They found no credible evidence of any criminal wrongdoing. The department's resources must remain focused on real threats to the American people, not baseless investigations. As a result, the investigation has been closed. But here's the problem with this statement. There's video of this, apparently. According to multiple news outlets, they have Tom Homan on video doing this, which is a unbelievable crime and completely corrupt. But let me go to something here. Here's another part of the article. Homan was allegedly the target of an undercover sting in September last year, where he was caught on hidden cameras in an unspecified Texas location, accepting $50,000 in cash. MSNBC reports citing internal documents that it obtained and 6 sources familiar with the probe. Keyword, he was caught on hidden cameras. So if he was caught on hidden cameras, that means that there's video of this situation. I would say most people would like to see that video because this is very serious. But let the reporter continue to talk, because she actually addresses the part where people say, well, he was a private citizen, he can't be charged. Let's go ahead and listen. Here we go.
That Tom Homan apparently had this scheme of making money by offering this.
Carol, incredible reporting that you and Ken did there. Can you walk us through what the response has been from various officials that you have presented this reporting to, whether it is at the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, or perhaps even the White House? What have you been able to learn from officials in response to this investigation?
Yes, the White House very quickly got back to us about this today. Kudos to them for that. And also Kaj Patel and Todd Blanche, the acting Deputy Attorney General, all issued statements to us in which they told MSNBC essentially that this was an improper investigation begun during President Biden's term, and that it was an attempt to go after a Trump ally, and they shuttered the case because they viewed it as lacking sufficient evidence to proceed. Of course, that is not at all how the FBI agents or the prosecutors working on this case viewed it.
Carol, the FBI and DOJ prosecutors took no further steps in late 2024. Why is that?
So here's the rub and the unusualness. I'm so glad you asked that question, Elise. What happens here is when Tom Homan is allegedly making a promise and recorded accepting $50,000 in cash for this alleged promise, he is not a public official. So he cannot be charged with a strict bribery crime, which is normally what you would charge someone with if they were offering to help influence contracts in office in exchange for money. So what the FBI and the Justice Department decide to do is to continue to monitor him. As soon as he is named as a likely appointee, he's a public official by dint of the statute. So they decide they're going to watch him for a while and figure.
So what I would want to see, and I think most people would want to see, is what evidence did they uncover? What did they uncover in their investigation after Tom Homan got named as a potential to become an appointee for Trump's border czar? I would like to know that, because according to her, the FBI continued to follow him and track this story because they couldn't get him when he was a private citizen. So they were like, okay, when he officially becomes a public official in the eyes of the law, when he got named as a possible choice for Trump's border czar pick, they went and they continued to record him, and they wanted to see, okay, will he still accept the payment and go through with it? According to the reporting, that's what happened.
Figure out, does he deliver? Does he try to deliver on the promise? Does he ask for more money when he's a public official? Then they could charge him with bribery instead of conspiracy or fraud or conspiracy to commit bribery. They decide they should just continue their investigation. But the word stalled is so important that you mention, because when Trump is elected president, he names Homan as his border czar. By the way, a position that doesn't require a Senate background check or an FBI background check. And immediately the appointees of Donald Trump are very sour on this investigation when they get into DOJ and into the FBI and are not interested in it being pursued. And it is closed, we're told by sources, in very recent weeks.
Carol, have you heard?
Okay, I want you guys to think about this. If you really think about it, it kind of makes sense why they would close the case. right as Trump announces him as the appointee, and right when Trump gets elected and goes into office and takes office as president, it kind of makes sense that they would rather this story not come out with a political appointee that Trump had just made his border czar. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I kind of believe the story. I mean, we do want to have some evidence. I would hope that more information would come out. I assume it's probably not. But I just don't know. She said that she spoke to 6 sources who were involved in this investigation. I just don't know why those 6 people would lie. And I saw people on social media saying that this is an attack on one of Trump's picks. You know, I just don't know why you would choose this as an attack. I mean, I'm just being honest. Think about it. There are a million different ways you could attack Trump's political appointees. I don't think creating a fake investigation and lying about this guy accepting cash payments will be one of the things that they would even be smart enough to come up with if you believe that this is a grand conspiracy and they're just trying to go after their Trump appointee. I think that this story is true. It makes a lot of sense. It adds up. FBI agents posed as business leaders. They went, they spoke to him. They said, hey, we'll give you $50,000 in cash if you can get us certain government contracts that are going to benefit us. And let's not act like this doesn't happen, guys. This happens a lot, especially here in Illinois where I live. The former Speaker of the House literally got sentenced to 7 years in jail for doing the same thing. He gave political favors and government contracts in the state of Illinois and made them pass through the state legislature in Illinois in order to get certain financial benefits from ComEd. This actually happened in Illinois with the Speaker of the House. This happens all over the United States. Corruption is real. This is a real thing. I just really don't think that this is a fake story. I don't think this is BS. I think this is probably true. There are plenty of corrupt people in the government, and we can't be as naive to think that nobody Trump appoints is corrupt, which, by the way, that's a whole different story because there's quite a few people in Trump's cabinet that I'm not a fan of. But regardless of how I feel about certain people, Kash Patel, worst FBI director ever, but that's a different story. I don't know. This story seems to be true. I would love to get more information, but, I would also love to know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You guys know what we do on here. We keep it unbiased. I really try my best to tell the truth and give objective reporting and commentary on these stories. Let's listen to the last little bit of what she has to say.
From Tom Homan himself, or seen any kind of reaction from him. And what are the remaining questions on your mind now?
Antonio, also really good question. The first person I wanted to hear from was Tom Homan, because I can envision that he had an explanation for why he took cash while sitting in a room with people he didn't realize were FBI agents. Maybe he did feel entrapped. Maybe he did have an explanation for why this happened. He was on a plane today when we were trying to reach him coming back from California, and the White House decided to issue a statement on his behalf. I still would love to hear what he has to say about the reason he appeared to make a promise and take money in a very unorthodox way. Usually FBI agents view someone taking a bag of cash as an indication that they know that what they're doing is criminal.
All right, MSNBC's Carol Lennick, thank you so much.
And there you go. I would love to see what Tom Homan has to say about this, too. I highly doubt he's going to speak. It sounds like the White House already released a statement on his behalf, so he's probably not going to say anything. But this is a huge story. I don't know how big it's going to be, or if this is going to lead to any political pressure where he'll have to speak, or if people are just going to forget about it and ignore it. But this is crazy to me, the fact that they have this man on tape accepting $50,000 in cash from undercover FBI agents to basically give government contracts in exchange for cash payments. The grift is real. There are grifters everywhere, and they are all over our government. I'm not saying that Tom Homan did it. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just being honest, okay? Anyway, that's today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.